This week we're learning a really easy card trick that anybody could do, but it's so strong that when I first saw it, I was totally fooled, and I'm like the best at magic. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and before we talk about anything else, check out the new background. So I just had these put in this week. Let me know in the comments what you think of my dope new background. Speaking of new things, this week I'm doing something I've never done on the channel. Now, as you guys know, every 2 weeks I do a live stream on the channel where I hang out with you guys, I bring in guests, we honestly do some of the best tutorials on the channel, and I even invite some of you guys to come in and show us some magic. If you guys haven't checked out the live streams yet, please go ahead and do so. They're honestly a lot of fun, and it gives us all a chance to hang out together. But on the last live stream, we had a guy called Morgan who came in and did a really cool card trick, and I was totally fooled. I love the trick. So many of you commented saying how much you love the trick, and then Morgan generously offered to teach the trick on the channel, and I was very surprised when I found out that it's done with a regular deck of cards and you don't need anything more. It's an honest killer effect. So the performance and the explanation you're about to see were filmed and generously sent to me by Morgan. Morgan is a musician and magician from Minnesota, and he's been doing magic since he was 5 years old, and he loves to create card magic. It's a real passion for him. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to his YouTube channel, or you could go check out more of his work. Now, as you guys know, performances are very important for me on this channel. I want you guys to see what the trick looks like before you learn it. So I asked Morgan to film a performance. Now, because we're all still in quarantine and we're not doing any shows or public events, he filmed this at his house for his parents. So here is the performance. Enjoy.
So I'm going to give these cards a bit of a mix before we start, and you'll actually help me shuffle once we get going here. But to start, I'd like you to pick a card. So Mom, if you can just tap back of any card you want. Right there? Sure?
Yes.
Great. Now, I want you guys to both look at the card. I'll look away. And show everyone at home too. And remember this card, very important. And when you're done with that, you can go ahead and set it down on the card mat and let me know when you're ready. It's down. Great. So again, remember this card, think of this card. I'll even show you one last time just to make sure. Got it?
Got it.
Great. Now we'll move this card somewhere in the middle of the deck, and we'll start mixing them up here, just like this. So we'll set here, and you guys can even help me out here, so I don't care. You can take a bunch of cards, you can just start shuffling them. So yeah, get in there, really mix them up. I'll be mixing some up. Yeah, just shuffle them up, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. You can cut a little bit. Yeah, mix them up. Start setting them some down too. Yeah, get going. Yeah. Set a bunch down, I'll set some down, you can set some down, you can set some more down. Sure, I don't care, I'll set some down, you can set some down, I'll set some down, just like that. It's a big old mess here. Now, we'll square this up. And I don't really want to touch the cards anymore. Dad, could you actually cut the cards? Cut them about in half. Just give the deck a cut. Great, so you cut from here to there, right? You're thinking of one card. We shuffled, we mixed them up. Wouldn't it be incredible if you cut to your card?
Yes.
What is the card you're thinking of?
3 of Hearts.
You cut to the, wait, you said the what? The 3 of Hearts?
3 of Hearts.
Well, you know what? I think I can make this work. Again, I don't want to touch the deck. You cut to an 8. You saw if you cut one more, what is it, like a 2 or a,
yeah.
Right, something different. Mom, I want you to pick up the deck. And one by one, count 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop right there with that 8th card.
Okay.
You're thinking of one card. You cut, Dad, to the 8. You could have one more. You would have had a 2 or a 6.
Right.
You stopped exactly at 8. One more time. What is the card you're thinking of?
3 of Hearts.
Go ahead. Turn it over. The 3 of Hearts. Everyone at home. It is the 3 of Hearts.
There it was, wonderfully done, Morgan. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Now grab a deck of cards because Morgan is gonna teach you exactly how to do that. But before we get to that, please remember to hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on for more magic, mentalism, and hypnosis content.
So for this trick, you're gonna have a bit of a setup deck. So the setup is this. You're going to have 8s and 7s alternating with random cards at the bottom of the deck. So it looks like this: random card, 8, random card, 8, random card, 8, random card, 8, random card, 7, random card, 7, random card, 7, random card, 7, and a random card. Now, I use the King of Hearts for the very bottom and the Queen of Hearts at the top. and that's just for a marker should anything go wrong, and you'll see what I mean about that. So your stack looks like this, 7s and 8s alternating. You're going to take this and place it on the bottom of the deck, and you're ready to start the trick. Now with this setup, you can handle the deck pretty freely. You'll see that it takes up about 1/3 of the deck, but anything above that you can shuffle. So you can do some overhand shuffles as long as you put it back on top. You can even do some riffle shuffles, again, keeping that brick of cards. So when you go to have the spectator pick a card, you want them to pick a card somewhere above your stack of cards. So again, that'll be somewhere in the upper 2/3 of the deck. So to do this, I just push off a few from the top and ask them to touch a card and go a little bit slowly here, and they'll pick a card before your stack. So in this case, we'll say this is the card they pick, the 10 of spades. From here, you're going to have them look at it and remember it and set it back down on the table. And this is an important step because you want an excuse to pick the card back up to put it in the deck. So once they set it down, you pick it up and show them and have them remember it one last time. And then you go to put it in the deck. Now you want to put it about 1/3 of the way into the deck or higher. So about there, maybe we'll do a little bit higher. And as you push it in, you're going to catch a pinky break. Now a pinky break is when you place the flesh of the tip of your pinky above a card and it holds the position of the deck. So in this case, I'm holding a pinky break, and that means that below the break is their card, the 10 of spades. So for the tutorial purposes, I'll even keep the chosen card face up. So again, put the card about 1/3 of the way down, and as you push it in, you can lift up on the back here and catch a break. And there's lots of great tutorials on breaks if you want to go more in depth. So holding this break, you're then going to push off some cards to start mixing them up. Now, when I do this, I push a few cards off right away as soon as I get the break, and that covers any gap that the audience might see. And this is under the act of shuffling and mixing them up. So take a few cards, push them off, mix them up, and set them down. From here, what you're going to do is push off all of the cards above the break, leaving their card on the top of the deck in your hand, and hand them to the spectator. Now, instead of just pushing them off in a big block and handing them, to make this extra convincing, while you're holding the break, you continue to shuffle and mix up, again freely, any and all of the cards above the break while you're holding the break. This gives the illusion that you're really shuffling the cards, because you are, but it also loses the place of the deck. You don't know how many cards you're really working with right now. So you shuffle the cards and you hand them to the spectator just kind of in clumps like this, again all the way down until the break. So now this is the position you're in. You have some cards here starting the deck. The spectator has a bunch of random cards. You have the spectator's card on top of your deck, and your stack is still fully intact on the bottom of your deck. And between the stack and the spectator's card, you have a dozen or so cards to freely shuffle around. From this point, you instruct the spectator to shuffle the cards. And as you do this, you're going to demonstrate. Now this is a very important point because this is how you position their card correctly. So as you demonstrate how to shuffle, you're going to push 8 cards off the top of the deck. Now I do 4 cards and another 4 cards. And because you're explaining this to the spectator, you can be very casual and pretty open about your counting because they're not even thinking that that's something you're doing. So again, you push off 8 cards, just like that. And from here, you're going to take that 8, take their top card off, and continue to shuffle and shuffle and shuffle, holding a big break with your fingers above this stack of cards. So at this point, you're holding a break with their card at the bottom of 8 cards. And now as you instruct them to shuffle, you want to put these cards at the bottom. All you have to tell them is as they're mixing them up, tell them that they can cut the cards and do that action, and you can be open about that. So you take the stack that you're holding the break of and place it on the bottom of the deck, and again, hold a break, and you can hold a break with all your fingers because you're going to continue to push cards off and jumble them up and mix them up. Now, as this is going on, you want to make sure the spectator starts placing some cards down on top of the deck here. So they'll be mixing them up, they'll be placing them down. Again, you have some cards to play with here. So if I look here, I have about a few cards here. So you continue to shuffle and mix up, and you can put a couple down. The spectator will put a few more down. You can put a couple down. And when the spectator sees that they've put about half of their remaining cards down, you're going to place the entire block of cards that you're holding with the break on top of the deck. What this does is this places your stack of cards in the middle of the deck. So again, you're holding a break. You see the spectator has just a few cards left. Place this entire block on top of the deck. Now to hide the number of cards that you're placing, I sort of jitter them out a little bit like this and set it down, and it just looks like it's part of the mess. Now, tell them to place the remaining cards on top, and what you have left is 7 random cards and their chosen card. From here, you can shuffle as much as you want as long as you don't affect the position of their card. Shuffle, 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 set it on top. Square them up, and at this point, the trick is basically done. Because here's the position you're in. Their card is 8 cards down from the top. And in the middle of the deck, you have a stack of alternating 8s and 7s right here. So when you instruct the spectator to cut the cards, it's very important that you say, cut them about in half. Because if you say that, they are likely going to hit an 8 or a 7 in a position, and I'll discuss that in a second. So they'll cut the cards and they'll set them off to the side. And at this point, you want to pick up this half of the deck. And one of two things will happen. Either you'll see a 7 or an 8 on the face of this deck, or you'll see a random card. If you see a 7 or an 8 on this deck that they cut here, this is the card you'll show them as if they cut to their card, even though it's wrong. You'll take this card off, set it to the side, and show the other cards on either side and complete the cut. Now, if they cut and you look and you don't see a 7 or 8, then you will turn over this next card because the next card will be a 7 or an 8. So again, you peek at this card, I see it's not a 7 or an 8. I turn this card over as the card they cut to. And again, make sure you show the cards around it. This is an extra convincer that it really is a free choice. And when you do the setup in the beginning, choose cards that aren't close to a 7 or an 8 and that are on either side different. So in this case, I don't have 2 5s. I have a 6 and an ace. Very clearly different numbers. So I've set aside the card they've cut to. And again, it'll either be a 7 or an 8. In this case, it's an 8. What I do if it's an 8 is I tell them, again, they can pick up and count the cards. And I say to count to the 8th card and stop at the 8th card. So they'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this will be their card. Again, their card will be face down. They're holding it. You ask them to say their card again, and they turn it over, reveal their card. Now, if it's a 7 that they cut to, so in this case, we'll say it's a 7, you have them deal the cards and say stop after you've dealt 7 cards. So they deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this next card is going to be their card. So after they've dealt 7, you say stop, you say turn the next card over, and that's their card.
There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the explanation to this really awesome card trick done with a regular deck of cards. It's so rare to find amazing tricks like this that don't use any gimmicks. So let me know in the comments if you love this as much as I did. Also, let me know in the comments, should I do more of these? Should I have subscribers submit explanations to tricks that they came up with or that they've worked on for us to all learn together? What did you think of that concept? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.